Hi, I'm Ken Brown, CEO of Destiny Global, and I want to welcome you to this special edition of Freedom Lifestyle. And thank you, Pastor Dinesh, for inviting me on and having me on your program and getting to pour into your people and teach them about business and success and really the laws of the Creator and laws that govern what success really looks like, regardless of where you're at in the world, regardless if you're rich or you're poor. In fact, these laws that we're going to study tonight have helped people come out of positions of brokenness, of despair, of discouragement, and found absolute freedom. These two laws that we're going to be covering are deep and they're wide. And the first one is going to be the law of vision. Now, this has been covered by many people in many different ways, and I'm going to spend just a few minutes on this one because it is the cornerstone to everything that you do. Is what is your vision for your life? Again, whether you're rich or poor, whether you're wealthy or not wealthy, you must have a vision for what you're going to do. Otherwise, everything that you've worked for will begin to disappear before your eyes, because where your focus is where you are going to be. Your time, your money, and those that you bring along with you, your followers, to come along with you to help you accomplish that vision. But one of the things that I've noticed in my own life is in any vision that I've projected out, whether it be for myself, my family, or for my company or companies, it has been that, did I really think I could do it? What are the things that hold me back from accomplishing that vision? And specifically, and the laws of success that we teach at Destiny Global, and really that are in this book written by Danny Johnson herself, First Steps to Wealth. There's a whole section here that covers 12 laws. Tonight we're going to be covering these two, and specifically one, which is your mindset. And mindset is so important. I use a different word than just mindset. I call it the limit of the lid that you have placed on your life, whether it be in your relationships at home, whether it be in your business, whether it be in your personal growth, right? For your health. What are you doing? How are you doing it? Sometimes we give up on things too quickly. We don't continue to march through and put the action behind it to really get the success that we want. We try something. Can't even tell you how many diets, right? To make sure that I stay healthy and fit. How many things that I've started and just quit, right? Because I did not start off with the right mindset. And mindset really is the most important thing to accomplish a vision. It is the generator to success in everything you will do. Starts with your mindset. And if you came to our home, as I've mentioned before, to several different audiences, and as I've spoken to so many people in different times, if you come to our home, if you come to April and my home, and you go into our bedroom, and on our bathroom wall, there are literally sayings that inspire us every day. And one of them is this. It says that you can do it or you can choose not to do it. The choice is yours. The choice is yours. So that's actually telling you you are in control of your destiny. You are in control of what happens, regardless of if you're in a prison or if you're in a, because yes, does this get broadcast? It gets broadcast all over the world, just so everybody knows. We have people watching this right now that are behind bars. We have people right now that are watching this that are in third world countries and find themselves in the most desperate of situations. We also find this in the homes of the affluent and wealthy. We find this being broadcast and listened to, and I want to thank all of you for giving me the time, for allowing me to spend this evening with you to pour into you and to teach you about things that are so important about really thinking about your life and what you want to do with it. Not just allowing everything to come at you and change your direction like a leaf in the wind, but setting purpose to every day that you rise, that you're setting your foot, you're putting your hand to work towards your vision in some form. And the way you get there is through daily activities, the habits that you form to get you there. But all that starts with your mindset. Your mindset. Can I do it? Have you set yourself up for success to do it? Because here's really what it comes down to. When you think about hardships and what life throws at you every day, obviously if you're a parent, you have children. If you're a young person, you're trying to find your way. If you're retired, you're trying to figure out how to spend your time and make the most of your life. And really that's true for all of us. What are we doing to impact others? How are we impacting the lives of others? Our goal here at Destiny Global is to impact 100 million lives by 2035. And obviously, if you think about what we're doing every day is to work to accomplish that. Every single day, we're working to accomplish that, both as a company and individually. My work and my personal life literally are not separated. My goal is to help people. And part of it's through this company, and part of it's through our home life and everything else that April and I do at home and with our children, is to impact lives. To impact lives. So as you're thinking about that, the mind begins to play tricks on you sometime. And that is, it begins to think about things that it can't do. This is the way we're actually built. If you look at studies that have been done on humans, our mind tends to think of the negative things first. There are very few people on earth that with positive thoughts every single day of their life of what they're going to do, and just kind of bubbly, bouncy people. You always find them hard to be around sometimes. It's like, how can you be so happy in that circumstance? It's because they have purpose in what they're doing. A person that's been that in my life has been Zig Ziglar. He is world-renowned, very famous for his teachings, and April and I got to know him personally. We went to church with him for a long period of time. He and his wife, the redhead, and God bless him. He's gone on to eternity, and he's walking streets of gold. But the fact is that I'm still down here, and I still have a purpose and a mission. But the things he poured in and taught were this, is that you can do anything you put your mind to if you draw enough people in to help you do it. If you draw in enough people to help you do it. The first thing that things is that it's taking a mindset and taking it to a different level, because that's a vision. And you see how integral they're tied to one another? If I think I can do it and I have a vision, I'm going to attract people because they're going to believe. Why are you listening to this? Because you believe what I'm telling you. Why? Because my life proves it. If you look at our clients, if you look at others that we've been able to pour into, you can see the results in their life. So what I'm teaching you is not some fad that's going to go away. These are life truths, laws of success, regardless of where you're at, regardless of where you're headed. These laws apply in your life. And one of the things that Zig talked about frequently is he loved to talk about, he often read from the greatest book ever written, and in that there is a book called Nehemiah. Now Nehemiah was ordinary in many ways. He came from a place that his people had been captured and they had been taken away into bondage and slavery, and really had no way of even the hope and despair that they were facing. They were actually struggling with hope because the despair was so great in their everyday life. It was just hard, to find the next breath to breathe. But the fact is he had a vision and a mission because his heart began to be moved by the Creator. See, when things begin to work inside you and you begin to think about things regardless of your circumstance, whether you're persecuted or you're free, the fact is when something comes up inside of you and it's a mission, it's a vision that you are feeling so strongly about that you can't literally contain it, that it starts spilling out and you start talking about it. You start dreaming about it. You start writing things down about it. You start trying to figure out how could this possibly happen. And before you know it, you start changing your mindset as something that I can't do to something I can do. You see, Nehemiah's impossible task was to actually go back and rebuild the walls to his city that was captured and basically torn down, completely demolished. And it was stirred and brought to his attention of what had happened to his homeland, and he was drawn back by the Creator through his thoughts, through his prayers, and thinking about how can I help my people find freedom again? How can I help my people get back to that place of where we have some normalcy to our lives, where we have a hope, we have a future that doesn't involve us being in a strange place in a strange land led by strange people with goals and objectives that do not align to mine. So how do I do that? Well, he began one person at a time. He began to share his vision, and he got other people involved. See, when you have a clear vision and your mindset is, I'm going to do it, people will be attracted to that. People are going to be attracted to you. People will want to follow you. And then they start giving you their input and their ideas, how to get it done. And as you do that and you begin to follow your vision and you start following the voice inside you that's leading you by the Creator, doors begin to open when you obey. When you set that vision, when you start having that positive mindset that you're going to do it, doors begin to open to you that you cannot imagine. Cannot imagine. You see, Nehemiah found himself in a place where he actually had access to a king, a person of very significant means. And he could see that Nehemiah was troubled. And out of nowhere, this man of great affluence asked this man that was a servant, ask him, what's wrong? I can see something's going on with you. And that was the door of opportunity because he shared. He said, my people, we're in trouble. The place where I grew up, my family, our extended family, it's in ruins. And there's no hope. They have no way of rebuilding. They need help. The next thing you know, the king says, well, I'll help you. I'll help you do that. And Nehemiah found himself on that one thing of just sharing his need with another, sharing what his goal, what his vision was, to go back and rebuild the walls around the city and then help them restore. Because if you can imagine a city, think of the world today. In any city across the world, if the walls are broken down, if a store doesn't have its boundaries in place, right? The door, the windows, the walls to keep people out, people are going to take everything. Well, that's what was happening. People were literally looting and taking. Can you imagine somebody coming, you don't have the front door on your house, and somebody's coming in and taking your stuff? Well, how are you going to put that boundary back, right? You have to build walls. And that gets us into a kind of a line of thinking I want to talk to you about. And that is boundaries. What boundaries are you placing in your life to help you succeed so that you're not letting things knock you off your vision because of your mindset? It's a boundary of your mind that I'm not going to allow things to take me off my mission. It does not mean that you're not going to have things that interrupt it. It does not mean that you're going to find things that don't take you off course. My goodness, if you look at 2021 in our life here in Kerrville, Texas, or if I go to India, or I go to China, or I go anywhere in the world, all of us were affected by COVID-19. In fact, there was points and times where I would go to the store just to try to get basic necessities for our family, and you couldn't even get toilet paper. You couldn't get basic necessities. And it began to make me realize the value of the small things in our life. We always want to take them for granted. We always want to think of the big things in our life, but the basic things and the little things that actually make our life easier. Who wants to go to the restroom without toilet paper? That's a problem. And why did that happen? Because there was fear that was created. It's a mindset. We didn't have to run out of toilet paper. Somebody, somewhere, a lot of them probably had pantries full of it. Probably still using it because they stocked up on so much. And they caused a pandemonium. They caused a crisis. And then more stuff had to be produced. In fact, the production that was already done by the supply chain that gets stuff to people as they need it was basically consumed for 2.5 months. They bought everything up. So the stores, they emptied out their warehouses, refilling shelves, and people bought all that up. And they did it again and again and again. And it was all purchased up. Right? Running out of resources is really what it amounted to. And those of us who didn't go buy all of it up had to find places to get toilet paper. In my office, in my shelf, I have a bowl where I was awarded the top performer of a large company that I served at for years. And to remind myself of this last year, I actually put a roll of toilet paper in it. Because see, the trophy meant a lot to me, but in 2021, having a roll of toilet paper at the beginning of the year was a nice thing to have. Think about your life and where you're at and where you're valuing. Sometimes we put things too high and mighty instead of thinking about the basics. And this year needs to be about basics, the year 2022, of how you're going to set your vision, how you're going to find financial freedom, how you're going to find emotional freedom, how you're going to find freedom in your life that allows you to pursue your goals and your ambitions. And some of you, that's going to require a move. You see, Nehemiah, he couldn't rebuild the walls if he stayed where he was at. So he sought a way and found a way and actually was blessed because he obeyed. He heard the voice from the Creator. He set that vision. He accepted it. He got his mindset clear and he went after that goal. But it required him to move. Some of us want to just look to the heavens and say, oh God, just put it here and make everything done without actually taking a step. May I remind you of the story of Noah? Think if Noah had not built the ark. There'd be no people. We'd be done. We would not be here because the humankind would have been extinguished from the earth in the great flood. And the fact is that his obedience, Noah's obedience, even though other people around him ridiculed him, he stuck to his vision and mission because he heard the Creator's voice and he followed him. And when he did it, he stepped into a blessing that he could not see, and it was hard. Could Father God have built the ark? Sure, he could have. But he didn't do it that way because he uses people to help people. So what he did is he stepped in, and Noah stepped into that role to build the ark. But he's the one who had to go gather the wood. He's the one who had to put his hand to the hammer, to the saw, to build it. It required his action to fulfill that vision. And that was a mindset that he was going to continue that work. He was going to continue to build it, even though every day he faced ridicule. The same is very true for Nehemiah. You see, Nehemiah found himself surrounded by people that did not want him to rebuild those walls. And to one particular person, his mother must not have liked him much. His name was Sanballat. And this guy was bad news. He would always come against whatever Nehemiah was planning. He would have some secret way of finding out what he was doing. When he got back to where he was going to rebuild the wall, Nehemiah started to work, got the people involved, got everybody excited. He even got the material donated to rebuild the wall. He got timbers. He got all kinds of supplies and things to help him be equipped when he got there. So I want to remind you of this. Sometimes we take off on a journey, and my particular personality can be very guilty of this. And that is that we don't surround ourselves with people that help us think deeper than we are, okay? And that is, if I'm going to go rebuild a wall, I'm going to need materials. I'm going to need tools to help me do that. I'm going to need things around me. How did Nehemiah get that? Other people stepped in to fill it. Don't think that you need to complete your vision by yourself. You need to ask other people to help you. You need to get other people online, whether that's finding a new place for your family to live that's better than where you're at. Some of you watching this are living literally, you're in a third world country and you are watching this right now. And we're so excited for what your future holds for you because it's finding freedom. And that may be a physical move so that you are not in an area where you are literally confined and put into basically slavery with your own hands and your own family. And for those in the States where we live in a mindset where everything around us is distracting us, some of April and I call them our intruders in our life. A lot of those are because we get caught up here about spending money on things we shouldn't. Right? There was just a holiday that came by, and people spent well into the billions of dollars on things and went into debt to do so, just for something to make them feel good. And a lot of it spent on really is going to end up as useless gifts instead of creating experiences for their family and for those around them, or helping another brother or sister that's in great distress and need. And so that's kind of the challenge where Nehemiah was. He going to spend his time and his resources taking care of just himself? No, his vision and mission was much bigger. It was all the people around there. And we have different people that we partner here through at Destiny Global. If you think about Pastor Dinesh and what he's doing with Grace Network in Pakistan, and bless you, Pastor, for what you do, helping people literally come out of slavery in their life, helping them find freedom, helping them find places to have clean water, right? And we do the same thing to King's Ransom Foundation. That's a deep part of our organization. It's one of the reasons I get up every morning, is to know that we're feeding the widow, the orphan, the poor. And if you're not part of King's Ransom Foundation, I encourage you to go take a look at that and find out more, because it's literally just like we're on our mission, just like Nehemiah, to rebuild walls of people's lives, to rebuild their mindsets that you can do something. A lot of you have been told that you can't do something, that you're not worthy of it. Some places in the world, there's caste systems in places. Where you were born decides who you are. Baloney. Your mind and your heart will determine where you go. Your mind and your heart. It's not your aptitude that will determine your altitude in life, your success. It's your attitude. So what's your attitude? If attitudes were contagious, would yours be worth catching? Think about that for a minute. We are in a society of negative. Everything is negative and in comparison. Everything's about comparison, especially in the affluent places in the world. Everything we do is compare. This person has this person has that. Oh, I don't have that. They went on vacation. Man, look at that new dress she's wearing. Look at that new car he's driving. Right? And I've been guilty of that myself, absolutely. Caught up in it. Hook, line, and sinker. So the truth of the matter is, if we're going to get our mind straight, we have examples before us that we can do to see how people got themselves out of bad situations and into the blessings and the favor of the Creator. And when you do this, there is nothing that will stop you. Nothing will stop you. Greater is He that is in me than he that is in this world. Nothing will stop us. That is our vision for this organization, for the organizations that we partner with, for my personal life, is knowing that I have the favor of God on my life. There is nothing more important to me. And it starts right there with my vision and my mindset. Because right there, I know when I have aligned myself with the Creator, with Father God, and I am following Him, He is going to direct my footsteps. He is going to bring favor into me. He's going to bring people to me that I did not even know. And they help me accomplish that vision, that mission. But it started off with a mindset. See, if you have a squirrely vision that I'm not really sure if I should do that, well, that's exactly what you're going to do. You're not going to do that. Right? As we teach around here a lot, excuses are well-planned lies. Those are things where you start giving yourself reasons not to do something. Eliminate those reasons. Take them out of the way. Realize what you can do. Have yourself an accountability partner. Have someone praying for you. Have someone making sure that on a weekly basis, what did you accomplish that helps you reach your vision? What are you doing? Have you reached out for help? Are you helping someone else if you're that person that someone's asking, that you've been putting off? Listen to your brothers and sisters around you. See where you can help. Step in, help them. You'll be amazed at what happens to your own life. You see, as I mentioned earlier, Zig Ziglar. Zig also had another saying, if you help enough people accomplish their vision for their life, you indeed will accomplish yours. You will reach your goal. Consider Danny Johnson, who started the organization that I'm CEO of. She came from a place of brokenness. Her life, she was in the worst of worst situations. She was in an abusive household that did drugs constantly. Abused in every way possible. Yet she found a way. She believed. She had an encounter with Christ that changed her. She drifted away. She didn't listen at first. had to go through and just go through some treachery in her life. And she found herself one day wanting to take her own life on the beaches of Hawaii, and was walking into the water to literally drown herself. And she heard a small, still voice, pick up your mat and go. With a little more than $2 in her bank account, she began to work. She got focused. She got a vision. She got a mission. She started developing her skills, which is important. We'll be covering those in weeks ahead. Your skills are so important because your skills are what help you, how you communicate people, understanding how God created them so you're talking to who they are as a person, not trying to command something of someone. Aligning someone with your vision and mission will help them get there, and they'll want to help you instead of push against you. Now, sometimes you're going to have people in your life like Sanballat. Nehemiah had Sanballat, and he pushed against him every step of the way. And eventually, Nehemiah and Sanballat had to have a confrontation. And let's just say it didn't go too well for Sanballat. You know why? Because Nehemiah by this time had an army that were helping him, literally and figuratively, that were rebuilding the wall and rebuilding the city. And they had spears in their hands, and they were putting up brick by brick, and they were protecting and building towards their goal, and they were going to let nothing stop them. They paid attention to what was going on around them. Why? If your basic needs of your life are not met, it's going to be very hard for you. If you don't know where you're going to get your next meal, if you don't know where you're going to get clean water, if you don't know, for the person here in the States, that you don't know how you're going to pay your electric bill, right? All of us have needs. Find a way. Figure it out. Involve people around you, right? You've got to get your mindset that you can do it. You can do it. If Danny Johnson can do it with $2 and just a little over $2 in her bank account to become a millionaire within really setting herself up within 2 years, you can do that too. But it's going to take a mindset shift. It's going to take some of you a physical move. She ended up having to move too. She couldn't stay where she was at. Who have you surrounded yourself with? Who's the people around you? Are they the ones holding you back, continuing to drag you down into that negative mindset? Or are they the ones building you up? And some of you need to look at this really hard because you've associated with people that are pulling you backwards. We've had to make some tough choices at our company here. People that we're going to be working with and people that we're not, where our goals do not align. Our objectives do not align. So we bless them and let them go on their way. But we're going to continue our mission and our goals and our objectives and stay steadfast, immovable, abounding in the good work that helps us accomplish that goal, which is to touch 100 million lives by 2035. And I would like to make that vision bigger because I believe that through this broadcast we're doing right now, we're going to touch more lives than that just by the people that are watching. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you, but you have to have your vision, what you're going to do. What are you going to accomplish this year? What's your mindset? I'm going to go do it. Then you have to get the resources. You have to get people around you to help you do that. You must surround yourself with people that have the thing that you would like to have, whether that's freedom, whether that's wealth, right? And then your purpose of what you're doing it for. What's your motivation? What's your motivation? What is my motivation being behind this camera? Is to help you find that freedom. Find the freedom that April and I have found through these very teachings in our marriage, in our finances, in our spiritual life, in our walk to freedom. And by the way, it's like when you sit on a chair. Can you imagine? Because life really is made up of 4 different, let's call it the legs of your chair. Some people say it's 3, some people say it's 4. You choose. It's a 3-legged stool or a 4-legged chair. If you take one of those things out, if your finances are not going well, that chair is going to begin to tilt and you're going to fall out of that chair. You are not stable. If your relationships aren't going well, the leg is going to tilt over. You're going to fall out of the chair. If it is your job or your family circumstance, you're going to fall over. You have to get stability in one area. And by the way, we found this in our own lives, that we would get one area of our life that would seem really well. We'd make a lot of money, but our family situation isn't what we had hoped it'd be. We would get that straightened out, and then something would happen over here with extended family or other relationships, and then we would tilt back up. It was constant. And then sometimes this other leg would pop in that we ran into in 2021 is our health. What are you doing to take care of yourself? What are you doing to take care of your family? What are you doing to take care of your fellow man? Step into it and realize that everyone does not have it as good as you have. Well, Ken, I live here and my life is terrible. Oh, you know what? There's someone who's got it worse. There's someone who's got it worse. Absolutely. Think about what you have. Be grateful for the smallest things you have. And that's part of this, is the mindset is a grateful attitude. Your mindset will determine your destiny. You must have a positive mindset. And that's what I really wanted to communicate with you today, is your mindset. You cannot accomplish your vision. You will accomplish really nothing in your life. You'll be the negative ninny that no one wants to be around. Always complaining and not accomplishing. And by the way, a complaining spirit is something that will literally disrupt everything because it is contagious. It's like COVID-19. When they get it and it affects the mindset, it's debilitating. And actually, over time, you erode and begin to decrease your own vision for your life of what's possible. And I don't care if you're 14 or 94, what is your vision and what is your mindset to help you accomplish your goals? Some of you just have more life left than others to accomplish it. Don't ever give up on your vision. Don't ever give up on your dreams. Figure out what that looks like. Set the path. Clear, easy steps. We teach on this and much more at First Steps to Success. It's where you need to be. You need to be plugged into that. You need to learn about it. There's so many teachings online at DannyJohnson.com. There's so much free content. Obviously on Facebook and others, we constantly pour in. But this success tips that I'm giving you will help you this year overcome the things that you haven't done in years past because of one thing, your mindset. You can do it. Whether you're taking on the diet, we've got several in the office here that are really challenging themselves to get their body more healthy. And they've got themselves coaches and accountability partners to help them do it. What are you doing? Who have you surrounded yourself to help you hit your goals? It's my challenge for you. Who is helping you? Who are you following? Some of you out here following different things and different paths that are the get-rich-quick scheme things. It's going to lead you to ruin. Danny's taught about this time and time and time again. Wealth is built slowly over time consistently. In fact, most of us that get wealth, I've been guilty myself. I got it and spent it all because I didn't have the other disciplines in my life. It's knowing what to do with it when you get it, giving that money a purpose and a home, and living in alignment with what the Creator has told you to do. The fact is that you can accomplish all things through Him who has given you strength. Are you going to trust Him? Are you going to believe in Him? Some of us can trust in the Creator for eternity, but we don't trust Him for tomorrow. April told me this years ago, my lovely wife, and it's so true. We had twins that were, Nathan and Noah were born. They were in the ICU, both of them, Nathan for an extended period of time, and we were just emotionally exhausted. And the fact is that those around us couldn't exactly figure out. In fact, in many ways, they couldn't help us because they didn't know what to do. Or they were giving us so many opinions. In fact, you ever been around people that they give you so many opinions? In fact, you couldn't even implement half of them. And even if you did, it wouldn't have helped the circumstance. Yeah. So coming around and people just helping us, trying to help us and not really knowing how was really what it is. But April and I were exhausted. And coming to the point of realization that, man, God, it's really hard I'm struggling with tomorrow. Now, going to heaven would be easier. Just go to sleep and wake up in heaven. That's not exactly how it works. For some people it does, but most it doesn't. So the reality of it is what am I doing to change my mindset that I trust Him with tomorrow, that I know what He has taught me is true, that I know that there's a future and a hope. Because I see the life. I'm surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses, and I see their life, and I see them accomplish their goals. There's people that are doing it in our community. And we invite you to become a part of this, that you become a part of our team, a part of the goal, part of what we're working on here. And that is followers to find freedom in every area of your life. So I thank you for joining me today. I pray that this has been a blessing to you, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you, and good night.